He saved her from her ex-boyfriend, who nearly ended her life. Then she met him by chance after 10 months passed by. He told her that he was the person who saved her while she was unconscious, but she didn't expect what would happen to them after that, or the strange request he would make to her. Melissa had received an invitation to speak at a private conference. She was speaking about women being exposed to danger and surviving domestic violence. But at this event, she met a strange man. This man was Cameron, who came to speak with her. Cameron was there, but in a different capacity from the rest of the attendees, as Cameron worked as both firefighter and paramedic at the same time. Cameron went to speak with Melissa and tried to remind her of an incident that happened between them. Melissa did not remember him at the time, but Cameron was understanding, because he was the man who had saved her from almost dying 10 months earlier. Because about a year before this event, Melissa had been in a relationship with a terrible person. She was in a romantic relationship with a man named Robert Lee, and they were planning to get married. But with time, she began to realize a dark truth about him, as he had a quick temper and he was easy to get violent. And when the relationship started going in a bad direction, Robert decided to take revenge on her. But when Melissa noticed his anger and bad behavior, she made a strong decision. She told him that she would end the relationship and that she did not want him in her life. But Robert continued to harass her in an awful way. But despite his harassment, Melissa did not expect what he would do to her next. A short time after the relationship ended, Robert decided to punish her. Robert went in front of her apartment and hid himself without her knowledge and waited for her to arrive. And when she came home, he attacked her in an indescribable and graphic way. At the moment, Melissa suffered many injuries and was in a critical condition. Her condition was so severe that there was fear that she might lose her life. At that point, the police emergency services were contacted. And at the time, a man named Cameron arrived with the police. Cameron worked as both paramedic and a firefighter at the same time, as he was able to help extract injured people from difficult places and transport them, while also provide medical assistance at the same time. And Cameron's experience was extremely important at the time because of Alyssa's condition, as she needed to be transported to the hospital by a helicopter as quickly as possible. And Cameron carried Melissa and transferred her by the helicopter as soon as he can. And then he cared for her and provided her with first aid, which may have saved her life in the final moments. Despite that, the medical team kept expecting her to not survive because of the amount of the severe injuries that she had suffered. For that reason, she needed a long time in the intensive care for her to feel better. And even after that, she spent a long time in the hospital fighting for her life to survive. But after some time, a miracle happened and Melissa's condition stabilized finally. And Melissa began to gradually improve over time. As for Robert, her attacker was arrested for his horrific crime. But after 10 months, she received a surprising invitation. She was asked to attend a conference to speak about what had happened to her. She thought about it for a bit and decided to go so people could listen and learn from her story. But she did not expect what would happen to her at this conference. After Melissa finished her speech, a stranger approached her to introduce himself. And this man was no other than Cameron, who had saved her life on that difficult day. Unfortunately, Melissa did not recognize him and asked him to remind her of himself, as on that day, her condition was extremely critical. But Cameron reminded her of himself and told her that he was there with her in maybe the hardest moment of her entire life. But after this brief encounter, something remarkable happened between them. Cameron and Melissa continued talking for a while after this time. And then Cameron made a request that surprised her a bit. He asked her to go out with him on a date and told her that he liked her and was attracted to her. Melissa agreed, and they did go on a date together for the first time. But she didn't really expect that things would become way more serious between them. As the relationship developed over time, Cameron came to her with a new request, but this time it was even more surprising. Melissa was invited as a survivor of domestic violence to a sporting event. Melissa thought the invitation was only to start the game, as this tradition in baseball games goes, as it's usually something given to special people and unique people and even people that have overcome hardships. But she did not realize what Cameron had prepared for her on that day. Before Melissa was to throw the ball, Cameron went and gave her the ball in her hand. But she noticed that he had written a note on this ball. And in this note, Cameron was asking her to marry him. And Melissa was in tears and so emotional, and she agreed immediately to marry him. And to this day, Melissa and Cameron are still together and happy. And they will soon celebrate their 9th wedding anniversary. And this story proved to us that even in the hardest day of your life, you may still meet the person who will give you the happiest moment of your life.